So now we're looking at the Nine of Swords. This is a card of anxiety, distress, sleepless nights. It can symbolise guilt, fear and distress and overwhelm. So we'll have a quick look now at the symbolism on the card.
Looking at the symbolism on this card, so starting with the person sitting up in bed. So as you can see, they're sat up in bed, they've got their hands covering their face and they appear to be distressed. So this suggests sleepless nights and mental torment. It represents a state of intense anxiety, worry or guilt that disrupts peace of mind and even sleep. It's indicating deep mental or emotional suffering. So then you've got the 9 swords here on the wall behind the figure, and these 9 swords represent negative thoughts, fears and worries that weigh heavily on the mind. They suggest that the person feels overwhelmed by their concerns. It's a very dark setting. It emphasises the themes of fear, the unknown and solitude. With it being a nighttime setting, it's symbolising the loneliness and isolation that often accompanies anxieties and fears. It indicates that these feelings are most intense in moments of solitude or during the night. The bed and the blanket indicates that this is a place of rest, but with the figure being in distress, it's showing that due to the worries and concerns, the person cannot even rest at night. They're not sleeping, and they're not able to relax whatsoever. If we come to the actual bed sheet, we can see that there's the red flowers, the red roses on the bed sheet. And these actually serve as a powerful symbol of love, hope and beauty, even within the suffering that's taking place. So they remind us that even in the darkest times, love and compassion are available to offer comfort and support. And the contrast between the roses and the figure's distress highlights the dual nature of the human experience, suggesting that beauty and suffering can coexist and that there is always hope for renewal and healing. By focusing on love and self-compassion, one can find solace and begin to alleviate the burdens of anxiety and worry.
So we're now looking at the 9 of Swords and how it might show up in a reading. So this is a card of extreme anxiety and distress. This card speaks of a person who is consumed with worry, fear. It could be guilt, it could be regret, but it's some kind of mental suffering, and it's the sort that it won't even let you rest. So it's most likely causing sleepless nights. Sometimes when we see this card in a reading, it can indicate a lack of sleep or somebody that's having difficulty sleeping but without the anxiety. So it can sometimes just be an indication to say, are you having trouble with your sleep? But it is really, its real meaning is about the anxiety and the anxiety keeping us up at night. So the two normally come together, and well, if you're anxious, then usually you tend to find that you're going to have troubles with your sleep. But then on the other hand, like I said, it can just be sleepless nights without the anxiety. But the main meaning of the card is about the anxiety and that mental distress that the person is feeling. So examples of this could be, you may be experiencing extreme worry about another person. So you could be maybe really worried about somebody that you love and their health. Maybe they've got a health condition happening and you're in great worry about that. You could be worried about your own health, so like you could have some kind of health anxiety going on. It could be a situation at work that is causing you a lot of distress, a lot of anxiety. But it's always indicating that you are preoccupied with very negative thoughts, and that you don't seem to get a rest from these anxious thoughts and these feelings. It can speak about regrets and guilt, and how you may be haunted, especially at night when you're on your own, when you're not busy and you're not distracted. Suddenly how feelings of guilt and regret might start to come in, and you may even feel like you're haunted by your past mistakes. It could speak of not only just sleepless nights and sleep problems in being able to get to sleep. This card can also indicate that whatever the worries or anxieties are that are happening, they may even be causing sleep disturbances like nightmares, and sleep paralysis, things like that, because sometimes those sort of things can be triggered by being in a state of anxiety. It could be indicative of like an overload of stress, so maybe taking on way too much and just feeling really overwhelmed with stress and life and work and home, and having to juggle everything. Maybe having to look after yourself, and maybe you do have a loved one around you who's not well, and you have that going on as well. And just a feeling of not being able to, just feeling really suffocated by life and everything that's going on. However, this card really does emphasize the importance of seeking help and support. It asks you to stop keeping things to yourself and worrying about it on your own at night when you're alone, because in the real world it can indicate that you might be putting on a face or a front to not really show how you are, and then it's when you're on your own at night that you let it all out, because that's when you're by yourself. But it is a massive reminder of the importance of sharing your worries and sharing your concerns, and how asking for support and seeking that help is really important. And that can mean the help from a family member, a loved one. It could be a really good friend, even a work colleague, just somebody you trust. Or on the other hand, it might be that you may feel that you need to seek the help of a professional. So maybe a trip to the doctors, and just saying that your mental health is suffering. And it's just, this card just really comes up to tell us the importance of sharing that, and how we must not suffer alone, and that we, no matter how bad something is, usually there are ways that we can get help, and that these things can be sorted, and that there are people out there that are compassionate, and that are that do like to help others. And so you can get the help that you need, and it's just saying that you must go out and seek that help. It's important. You can't take everything on by yourself.